Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq. And yes, we are live. We're live. Hello, how you doing? The purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say thank you, Donovan, for coming back once again. Of course, we did our podcast earlier today, so go check that out if you haven't already. I think it was a good conversation. Also like to say a big giant thank you and hello to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Either are or X, the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just family or viewers, but we sometimes share the link so that you can come up and express yourself. All I ask is that when you do, please show me your face. If I do not know who you are, you have not been on here before, just to verify that is no shenanigans involved. Also, I ask that you only come up here if it's pertaining to the question at hand. Don't come up here trying to deviate and ask all other kind of questions. I've been very nice about it in the past, but this time I'm going to be like, nope, you need to answer the question. Also, ask that you keep your commentary brief, as I sometimes have quite a few people coming up here. Today, we're going to talk about the DA prosecuting Trump, allegedly being caught putting in some overtime with a co-worker. Ooh. Also going to talk about Biden spending some time in South Carolina. Of course, you guys know it's election season, so they're going to hit the churches and try to shore up the Black vote, but something happened while he was there. So we're going to get into that and other topics that arise, because sometimes people be like, well, y'all didn't stay on topic. It's like it's a 2-hour show. Y'all think we're going to talk about the same thing the whole show? Anyway, who's on here? Panther Strike, how you doing? Moni, what's going on with you? Troy, how are you? And Michael. All right, Donovan, what's on your mind, brother man?
What's on my mind? Welcome back, people. Thank you guys for coming to the show, especially our longtime listeners and co-hosts. We really appreciate you guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button on the way in. And if you're a new listener, let us know where you're listening from. This is a great program. Notice at the bottom, if you want to donate, you can donate through Cash App, Venmo, whatever. That way it gives the content creator 100% of your donation versus YouTube, which takes 40%. And that is a pimp of the year move, if you're taking 40% of somebody's net income. So I got to give it to YouTube and the Ike Man for doing that. Also, do not forget that we are pushing the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can download that on Apple Store and Google Play. It's a platform where we control it. We can talk about what we want without having to deal with the restrictions of another entity's platform. So things that deal with the African diaspora, it's all there. Brother Philip Scott, Demetra K, Wangel, Vicky Dillard, they're all there. You get a lot of information, not only what's going on in the United States, but around the world in the African diaspora. So please, I strongly recommend you guys sign up, take a plan. And it's really inexpensive if you were to become a long-term member, a few dollars. Hey, some of you guys spend that to just getting a cup of a coffee in a day. It doesn't cost that much, and we really would like to go into that platform so we can have our conversations without having all these trolls and people listening to the revolution. So thank you guys for coming. A topic that's going to be coming up is, I just want to remind you guys, a few years ago, when we were telling you don't do it, now people want to listen. Demetra, this goes back to my whole point of how Black people are reactionary, and we're not proactive. We are reactionary. We rather get in the damn hole and keep digging and then worry about how to get out. We told people what Joe Biden was about. We told you what Kamala Harris was about. But hold my beer, here we are today. And now, as you guys may have heard, Joe Biden has said that he started the civil rights movement, as he is down in South Carolina with your boy Jimbo Jangles Clyburn. And unfortunately, a lot of the elder people, they made sure that he had a audience that was friendly toward him. But we're going to get into that, Demetra. Thank you for this platform. Let's get into it, and let's see what our co-hosts have to say in regards to our forever bottom position in this country.
Yes, indeed. Who else came on here? Marcella, how are you doing? What are you cooking today? You're always cooking something. Black America, what's going on? Oh, gosh. She said you came with smoke.
Yes, you got the smoke today. Bring it, brother. Bring it.
And I got the fire extinguisher. So But how you doing anyway? Miss Sweet Talks, how are you this evening? Shirley, how are you doing? All right, yep, let's get it. So, okay, the first topic at hand is, I don't know if it's a shocker or not, but when I woke up this morning, I tend to do that and try to read the news and see what's going on. I saw that Miss Fanny Willis, who is the DA, the prosecutor there in Fulton County, Georgia, who was walking tall and talking tough as she was in charge of prosecuting President Donald Trump, or former President Donald Trump. Now, when he was president at the time, of course, the 2020 election, it was between him and Joe Biden. Of course, the Trump team was talking about how the election was stolen from them. They had to stop the steal. Of course, y'all heard about the January 6th insurrection. But in the meantime, Trump is accused, along with 18 other people, of trying to influence the election officials there in Georgia by getting them to cheat, basically saying that, the count was not done right. And so Fanny Willis, Fanny, I guess that's how you say it, again, a Black woman, and she's on the thumbnail. I was in charge of getting them, basically locked up eventually. That's the thing. Of course, she's also in charge of the Young Thug case, a rapper out there whose trial is going on, and both Trump and a Young Thug, in addition to the 18 people, are caught up on RICO charges, which is basically an act against organized crime. So that's what Trump is facing. Now, of course, I'm going to read y'all something more specifically. It says, in August, Willis charged Trump out of her investigation into his alleged effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election, which I just said. Trump was charged with 1 count of violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 3 counts of criminal solicitation, 6 counts of criminal conspiracy, 1 count of filing false documents, and 2 counts of making false statements. Trump pled not guilty to all charges. Now, this is the other guy. I think his name is Michael, if I'm not sure. But anyway, his last name was Roman. Alongside Trump, was hit with a racketeering charge as part of Willis's case, and was charged with 7 felony counts last August. Now, this particular co-defendant, sounds like he said he wasn't guilty either, but a lot of them took a plea deal and all this other stuff. Now, it's actually his counsel that says, hello, we have discovered that Miss Willis has been doing some things that are inappropriate. Like, for example, she may been doing some extra overtime with her co-counsel that she hired, Nathan Wade. Now, Nathan Wade is a brother who's also a lawyer, who it sounds like she paid, and I'm going to say allegedly, this is all allegedly, this is what I've read, paid about $650,000 for him to be co-counsel. Now, the other thing that they're saying is that along with her paying him this money that they said she doesn't look like she had any permission to do, to pay out of the state of Florida's, coffers, if you will, also said that they have gone on trips together. And it wasn't just business trips. They've gone on a couple of cruises and, vacations. And it's also said that they have been cohabitating together. Now, some people are probably saying, well, what's the big deal? Well, they said at the time he was married. In addition, there's a law somewhere in Georgia saying you can't do that, right? You can't, potentially be having relations with somebody you are paying, right? She's contracted him with state money, and potentially she's having an affair with him. So that's a huge conflict of interest. Now, he's also been contracted to help with the case against Trump and the other people. So if y'all can see where I'm going here. So the co-defendant Roman and, his lawyers are like, nah, we need to get all this thrown out. She needs to have something happen to her because this is not right. Now, the other part of this is, of course, you guys know that the Biden administration, whenever they're asked about the charges that are brought up against Trump, because Trump is facing like 91 counts of something from here to there and everywhere, right? But whenever the Biden administration is asked about, well, what do you think about Trump being prosecuted? Oh, we don't have anything to do with it. We don't know anything about that. We're just going to let the DOJ, the Department of Justice, who is also appointed by the president, we're going to let them handle that, right? Because the accusation has been that the Biden administration is performing some sort of a witch hunt to get Trump disqualified from running for president, because on the Republican side, Trump is the front runner. Like, no one has even come in within striking distance of replacing him as the nominee, even with all of the things that he is facing. And so again, the allegation is that the Democrats are trying to get him disqualified. Of course, we heard a lot about some states throwing him off the ballot and some wanting to, and all that other stuff. So again, those are the accusations. Now, however, it has been found that, and I'm going to read this. Wade, so that's the co-counsel. Wade billed the county for a May 2022 event described as Travel to Athens Conference with White House counsel. Wade charged $2,000 for 8 hours at $250 an hour. Now, y'all heard that, the White House's counsel. Now, who was in the White House, in May of 2022? Y'all know who was in the White House. It's Biden. And then also said several months later, Wade billed for an interview with DC White House on November 18, 2022. Wade again charged $2,000 for 8 hours at $250 an hour, according to the documents. Now, going back to what I said, and of course, I'm just reading y'all what I read, that the Biden administration has been vehement about, we don't have anything to do with what's going on. The prosecutions, we're just going to let the justice system play out and do what it's going to do. So it's like, why, as the special counsel for against Trump meeting with the Biden White House? That definitely sounds like, I mean, what are you talking about? And again, this guy is hired, he's, by Fanny, who brought up the charges and stuff like that. And so why is he meeting with the White House? Are y'all talking about, what's for dinner? Like, what are we doing here? So that definitely raises an eyebrow. Now, I should say that Fanny Willis, in the past has been championed, especially by the Republicans, because she is tough as nails on crime. It is said that the jails there in Atlanta and Fulton County, I guess, if you will, are busting at the seams with Black people who have been arrested for any and everything. Of course, they are trying to lock up rappers, by using their rap lyrics. Young Thug is one of them. So she has been considered to be one of those, tough as nails prosecutors. Doesn't sound like she's very good for Black people. And so their other accusation is she has allowed the Democrats, to potentially use her. And now she's got to answer for, was you doing a little hanky-panky with a contractor? Of course, when she was asked about it, or her team or whatever, they said, well, we're going to answer that in court. I'm going to tell you right now, if I was in her shoes and those allegations of that magnitude was leveled against me, I'm going to say hell to the no. There's no validity to that. It's all false. But yeah, you got to kind of, and then they said that they don't have any like evidence, like pictures or anything, but they definitely got eyewitnesses of people who work with both of them, Wade and Willis, that they know for sure that they've been hanging out, in places they should not be hanging out. So, Donovan, what do you think about that?
Well, let me ask you this. As we know, anybody that visits the White House has to go through and sign a visitor's log, so we can verify all the stuff that is actually happening here. But let me get this straight and to the point, okay? For those of you guys that might be Democrats, great, God bless you. For those of you guys that might be conservative and a little leaning more Republican, I want my Democratic friends to be neutral right now. I know this sounds kind of far-fetched, and I just want you guys to think about this. Do you guys think that it is possible that both of these parties are creating all of this confusion to, number one, delay Trump's eventual conviction for whatever crimes it is? Because you guys do know that when you are in any kind of legal court and you die during those legal proceedings, it's as if the court cases never took place because you were never convicted of anything, right? Is it possible that both of these parties are playing us, the American people? Because you got to remember, Donald Trump is part of the oligarch class here in the United States, and he is being punished by his fellow oligarchs in regards to paying attention and doing what they want him to do. So where I'm going with this is this. All of this wordplay and distractions and this and that, I mean, is this all to get us distracted? Because at the end of the day, for Black people, does it really matter if a Democrat is in power or a Republican is in power? We're at the bottom of the totem pole, you guys. So does it really matter for us? As far as Fanny Willis, city girl Fanny Willis goes, I'm going to say city girl, because it seems like there's an epidemic of these women that are in power positions that are just living it up. As we know, the Chicago mayor up, or not mayor, she's not mayor of Chicago, but near Chicago, the Tiffany Henyard girl, and you got the girl in New Orleans, and now you got Fanny Willis. It's like, what is going on with all of this stuff? I really feel that yeah, she should know better, and I think this is a way that they kind of knew of this for a long time, and this is the outing that Donald Trump is going to get in regards of getting out of these charges, because we all got excited when he got indicted, right? Everybody got excited, but this is their escape hatch clause to get him out of it. If the Democrats really wanted to win this election, you guys, why are they running Joe Biden? Why are they running Joe Biden? It's been over 3 years that this man has delayed, and the court system has delayed all of this stuff. Do you guys really think it matters if Donald Trump gets back in the office? We're at the bottom of the totem pole. When you're at the bottom, it doesn't matter. Neither of the party does anything for us, so why are we getting upset? Why does it matter? At the end of the day, I really want you guys to answer that question for me. What does it matter? You've already survived 4 years of Trump. What do you got to lose? I can tell you this, another 4 years of Biden, it is a wrap for Black people.
Hey, Easy, I ain't forgot you. I wrote your question down. I was supposed to get to something last show and I forgot. But I got it written down here. But we'll get to it. Milo Factor, how are you doing? Your average logical thinker. Rodney, what's going on with you? And I'm gonna get to the rest of these questions, but I want to get back to this one. Black America says, who cares about the personal life? That doesn't matter about a crime that has happened. Well, it's a crime because, for one, did he benefit from a financially due to the relationship that he was having with her? You cannot do that. That is against the law, from what I understand, especially there in Georgia. So, of course, she's probably going to be a little bit biased if she's getting a little, something from him. And of course, what might that job have gone to somebody else if it wasn't allegedly her lover? You know what I mean? Was there somebody else that was more qualified to do the job of special counsel, but they didn't get it because she was like, well, I'm going to give it to my boo thing. So there's definitely a lot of things going on there that is not considered legal or immoral. So, and in law, they have this things called clean hands, right? You got to have clean hands. She's bringing, all these cases against Trump and his co-conspirators, if you will, but she doesn't have clean hands allegedly, which is stupid to me, because it's like, why would you be getting it on with a coworker or somebody you contracted who may also be married? And then, you're wielding this, hammer of justice, if you will. And you got some dirty sheets, sis. I'm just asking. Okay, so let's see here. Who else came on here? Pop, how you doing? And yes, if y'all could hit the like button, I love and appreciate you for that. Michael, you said Joe Biden got drunk for saying racist things at the NAACP meeting. He said, I'm more intelligent than all of you. Without us white people, you would have been worse off financially. Yeah, he's an old cooter, Dixiecrat, to say the least. And Marcella says, Sister Queen, before you ask, and I did, it says, I'm making fish and veggie sandwiches for my family. I make some awesome sub sandwiches. They hold over 10 vegetables, and it's so good. That sounds good too. Yeah, they said there's people who know firsthand that they do be hanging out, and they ain't talking nothing about no legal stuff. It's a lot of. Let me stop. Hey, Miss White, how you doing? I hope you're doing well today. Facts, not feelings. How you doing? Black America says, so you can't hang out with people. Come on now. He claimed to be so smart, but you asking some real silly questions right now. You the highest woman in the land, pretty much, as far as legally concerning DA, and you hire somebody you may be sleeping with. That money is not coming out of her pocket. That's coming from the state. So as I said, did somebody else deserve that job and they didn't get it because he, laying her flat? I don't know.
Was there a proper bidding thing for it, or was it an open thing? Because again, isn't it funny how, like a good example, Tiffany Henyard up in the Chicago area, she's just giving jobs to her friends. One of her supporters was a former waitress, has no experience, put her on the dais up there, and the girl is making $100,000 a year, even though what she did was illegal. Who's gonna check them, boo?
And we see that a lot, with people in positions of power. I mean, even on the smaller levels, that somebody got a homegirl or something like that, and they, give them the contract to make all this money, and they say, okay, well, what did you pay them the money for? Can you show us what they did? Well, we had a conversation, and you paid them $300,000. So it's like, come on. So clearly. I'll say clearly, I say allegedly, she gave her boo thing some money, to help try to prosecute Trump. But, you can't be on cruises with your boo thing. Or even if that's your co-counsel, he's married, what the hell y'all doing on the cruise together? So, Black America, I know you're smarter now. You just being a troll right now.
Wait. I'm going to check you right now. I'm going to check you out, dog it. The Congressional Black Caucus. Maxine Waters, did they not go down to Jamaica to have a meeting in the banking field that she's in, that she heads? She had a meeting down there. So would it be feasible that Fanny Willis and this guy had a meeting on a cruise, killing two birds at one stone?
A meeting doing what? I've been on a cruise, and those are very close quarters. So what are y'all meeting about? Ain't no reception. You don't get no reception on no internet. It's hard. You get some internet reception, but it ain't all that. So what is your meeting about? I know what kind of meeting they were having. Hold on, because you take the mail plug and then you enter it into. That's the kind of meeting they were having.
Yeah, but you got to close the deal somehow. If there's a meeting and you got to close the deal. That's how you close the deal in that situation.
Cut it. Kermit, how you doing? Says, yes, it was some serious contracting going on. Maybe. Yeah, it was some contacting, not contracting, contacting. Allegedly. Rhonda, how you doing? You said she's also the same prosecutor who refused to charge the office that killed Rashad Brooks. Yeah, so yeah, she's got a lot going on. And, as I said, going after Young Thug for something he may or may not have actually did via rap lyrics and, just a bunch of stuff. But here she is, potentially doing some things she shouldn't be doing, swinging from chandeliers on a cruise ship or something. I don't know. Panther says, no, disparagement comes from both sides of the aisle, Brother Don. The GOP and Dixiecrats are both one and the same, anti-Black racists. Beach Material, how you doing? Says, I'm sorry, but what is OT? Overtime? They only give you so many characters on the title, so I have to shorten it as much, but it's overtime. After hours overtime. Brother Don, how are you doing today, love? And hi, Q, how are you doing? It says the Black community doesn't know that Obama's 8 years, not Trump 4, were a real hell. It's just the result of mental paralysis in Black communities blinded by the illusion of race. I can dig it. And Black America says, ain't nobody busting Maxine Waters. Oh, you'd be surprised, okay? You would be surprised. Michael says, Philip Scott said, brothers and sisters, I need all of you to vote Republican candidates 100%. I don't care if stupid Democrats have to lose everything. I want reparations and tax cuts. I see that you put that in quotation. So okay. Let's see. Beach Material says, okay, I got it. Thank you. William, how you doing? We are doing well. Pensy Lola, what's going on with you? Shalom to you as well. So yeah, I mean, as far as that is concerned, I mean, it really remains to be seen. But like I said, if that was me being accused of something like that, I would, as loud and proud as she is, walking tall and talking tough about prosecuting everybody, I would be just that loud saying they lying. I'm suing everybody for defamation. This guy is my co-worker. I would no way, shape, or form be laying horizontal on standing up, the chandeliers, the bathtub, on no cruise ship. We ain't rocking the boat, no way, shape, or form. I would have said that. I wouldn't say, well, we're going to answer that in court, because to me that sounds like, well, maybe there's some truth there. But yeah, you got to answer for why you paid somebody almost $700,000 and you may be sharing sheets with them.
Dimitri, I have a question for you. And here's my question. Fanny City Girl Willis went to Howard University. Kamala Harris went to Howard University. I'm not sure if City Girl Fanny Willis is a AKA or whatever the deal is. What the hell are they teaching at these HBCUs where it seems like the so-called fraternities and the sororos, it seems like they are taught a certain way to get to certain levels by doing certain things?
Um, I don't necessarily even think it's the school that they went to. I just think, I mean, if we study history, the Black woman has always been put in, and I want to say this lightly, positions of power. Well, obviously, it's a false perception, but they have been put in that position. Even in the plantation, they put the Black woman over the Black man. She browbeat him along with slave master. You old fool, you old this, you don't know what you're talking about. Be quiet. I mean, we've even seen it in modern day, with Simone Sanders and a whole host of the other women that are in these positions of power telling Black men, shut up. You don't know what you speak when you're spoken to. So what they do is, and of course, you bring in the Black woman is the backbone of the Democratic Party. Again, that's putting her in a position, of course, it's a false position of power over the Black man, especially when we know the Black man voted almost really right behind her in regards to voting for the Democrats, but they give her that title. So in all these, a lot of other cases, Fanny Willis, Letitia James, and a couple other women. We saw one that was at the UN that was voting for the United States, whether they wanted to do a ceasefire or not. Now, you ain't hardly ever seen no Black woman from America in that position. So the point that I make to bringing that all up is I don't necessarily think it has anything to do with the school. I think it has something to do with people, real people in power, knowing, optically, I'm trying to say visually, what that looks like to everybody else. Oh, because what do we say about Maxine? Oh, she reclaiming her time. Oh, you see how? Oh, she's on the chairman of the finance committee, and she gonna get Trump together. So it's an illusion. And so, unfortunately, when you got people like your Fannies and all the other people that have positions of power, they forget that they really not in positions of power. And so sometimes they do silly stuff allegedly, like pay your boo thing $700,000. To help sit with you side by side to prosecute, the one of the biggest, just not even before he was president. Donald Trump was one of the most polarizing figures in the world. He just was and still is. So there's this false perception of power. You got this Black woman who's going after Trump. She's gonna hold him accountable. But then you get caught up potentially with something like that. To me, that says she's not that smart. Because I'm sorry, if I have to be getting something on the side, it ain't going to be from the dude sitting next to me that I just wrote a $700,000 check to go after the biggest fish in the land. But that's that getting drunk off of and believing that she was really all of that. But I guarantee you, when she has to answer for that, it's going to be a whole different, and it's going to be a whole lot of him and hawing. Watch.
Right, but you would think, okay, I've got the biggest fish in the land. I'm going to have to stop my relationship at this point while I'm going through this case, knowing the case is coming to me and doing that. I mean, not even an intelligent person, an average person would know that, right?
It's not even about intelligence as much as who gonna check me, boo? These white folks got me up here. I'm calling the shots. I'm going after Trump. Yeah, I'm doing it for the man, because the man is also in the Democratic Party too, right? I'm gonna make sure that Trump ain't gonna be. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna do it. And so with that, you get drunk off of power. You forget that you got to walk a straight line too, because one thing I know for sure, okay? Now, I don't know a lot, but doing what I do, I know that when you got the ball per se, there's people who are going to be trying to take it from you. There's people who are waiting and watching, trying to find anything to get that ball from you. So she got the ball. Well, she had a couple of balls that didn't belong to her too. You don't think they knew that? You don't think somebody was, wait, oh, you know what I mean? Because you think you could go. I went on a cruise in June and somebody recognized me from what I do. I'm nobody, not like she is. So you don't mean to tell me you on a cruise with your man and somebody else, man, and nobody know who you are. Well, she ain't but what, 4'11". So she's not hard to mistake or whatever. So I think she just was like, who gonna check me, boo? Ain't nobody gonna say nothing to me. So
you remember, she's 4'11", and remember, she requested a security detail because of the death threat she was getting from the so-called MAGA folks. And so if she went on a cruise, whatever, she would have a security detail with her. So that would be kind of stupid to me to even. What happened to discretion? You go to the old Momo, nobody knows you, and you kind of go in and handle your business, and then you just keep it at home.
See, the thing is, all eyes are on you. As I just said, you're going after one of the most, hated, liked, polarizing, most known men in the world. You're going after him, and you think everything you do is going to be a secret? They know what you ate for dinner and for dessert 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean?
And then if you think about it, and this is how white supremacy works, when they're done with their tools, they break them. I want you guys to think about that. When white supremacy is always done with their tools, whatever those tools are, they break them. How do we know they don't even have a tape of them in the act?
I mean, they might. I don't think that the co-defendant in Trump's case, I don't think they leveled the file to get it dismissed. I don't think they did that because it was just willy-nilly, like, oh, for real, you heard she was doing. I think they got a smoking gun somewhere.
Right. Well, actually, Donald Trump, after his immune case on the appeals circuit today, he alleged that case needs to be thrown out in regards to things that came out today. So he and his people are aware that some stuff has been going on down there.
Yeah. So but it's called strategy, you know. And if to me, if I was the state of Georgia and whoever, because trust me, I believe she was put up to doing that. Whoever put her up to it, they're going to be very upset. Because Donovan tell you all the time, when I work with somebody, especially if you running for office, my number one question is there something I need to know about you, or that will come out about you that you don't want nobody to know, so we can get ahead of that in case it does? And that's the question they should have asked her. Listen, do you got clean hands? Are you doing something that may come out? Because we're putting you in a position where your life is going to be under fine, tooth comb, a microscope. Every move you make and have made is going to be scrutinized. So is there anything we need to know? Now, that was their problem too, for not saying, asking her that. And then maybe they did. And she's like, oh no, because she maybe didn't think nobody would know.
I want you guys to understand, when I ran for office, Demetra did ask me that question. And this is why I have to come on the show when she tells me to come on the show, and I have to take her crap because she knows something that I don't want to get out. Okay.
Yeah. So it was very cavalier and silly on her behalf. If any of that is true, is like, wow, not getting caught up by the D, sis, not the D.
But isn't that indicative of a lot of women in power? And just, I mean, I have attitude. Everybody has a degree of delusion in ourselves. But I mean, and I'm just saying this in general. I mean, we as a people, but women, for some reason, are addicted to that social media. And especially our young girls, you see them doing this all the time. They're just in love with themselves, I just think that is just something that is indicative to people who think they went to this high-powered school. They're in this high-powered sorority. I mean, I've seen people that have started where we started, Demetra, and they go to these sororos, whatever, and you know who I'm talking about because she owed me my money and I had to get it from her. But on YouTube, she's this outgoing person when I know the chick owes me money. You know what I mean? It's just something that just gets to people's it's ego. It's all about ego.
Yeah. And again, I think it has a lot to do with, who's gonna check me? I'm invincible. Wow, I'm powerful up here. It's not unusual for people to get drunk on power. For people to think, oh, I'm the end all be all and I could do what I want. And but I don't think it's just women, it's men too. Let your lower extremities do the thinking for you. Because for me, if I had to be with the guy, I'd be like, well, let's wait till all this is over. Like for a while, we want to make sure we're out of harm's way type of thing. Because even with that, was it Marsha Clark and what's the name? What's the cat's name? Darden. Yeah. They messed around afterwards, from what I understand. I don't know if they were doing it then, whatever. But if you're in a working relationship, yeah, you kind of need to, put business first. But I'm sorry, I'm not going down by the D, especially, with something of that magnitude, but like I said, if I was her, I'd have got up. The minute I heard such allegations, to be like, that is, in the old people's language, that's a bald-faced lie. I did not have intercourse with that man. I did not inhale. That's what I would have said. Yeah, that's the attitude she have. Who gonna check me, boo? I'm walking tall, talking tough. Black America says this is why women shouldn't be in power and why men and women shouldn't work together. I mean, there's a lot that I don't agree with that because there's a lot of men and women who know how to behave themselves. There's a lot of men and women who could work together and not try to, sleep with each other. They know they going to work. We ain't coming to work for all of that. We going to work. And there's men in power that's gotten in trouble by the PPE, so it's, I don't know. I just think it's a mindset, really. Go to work, not to be doing it. Yeah, Christopher Darden, William. Yeah, average logical thinker says, my homegirl dumped her guy because he caught a case. She wasn't about to lose her top secret clearance for nobody. Donovan's the same way. I know Donovan to have gotten rid of a bad one. And he was like, the devil is a lie.
I'm having flashbacks right now just thinking of her. Damn.
Donovan was like, you crazy. I mean, it was some real gangster stuff that went on. I was like, you lying. He was like, no, for real. They was like, we need to talk to you. He's like, she did what?
Total shock. I mean, international incident. Shit went down to Mexico. I was like, what? What? Can we come in your house? No.
Because he got security clearance too. He was like, ain't no woman that bad.
So the moral of the story for you ladies out there, I'm severely scarred by relationships. I really am. I'm severely scarred.
Marcella says they can't help it. It's them pheromones. Well, they need to wear a different cologne or perfume or something. Wear some hot karate. I don't know. Michael, are you quoting everybody today? What's going on with you? Seem like are you quoting people or whatever. But anyway, let's transition to the next topic. So anyway, we're gonna wait and see what happens with Fanny. And Kerman, he says, don't play where you get don't play where you get your pay on the job, on the contracting or whatever relationships can be tasking. Yeah, just go to work. That's one thing I could say. I'm proud to say that I've never had a work relationship. I could have, a lot of men want to be in relationships with me. I'm like, I'm not here for that. I'm here to work. I don't want to see you for 8, 10 hours, 12 hours. Sometimes I have to do that here and then go home and see you for the rest of the, no. And plus I know work relationships are messy. Listen, when I worked at Frito-Lay, I'm going to tell y'all, one of these days, I'm going to write me a book. I've heard everybody's affairs and this, that, the other. There was a dude there. Let me see. Do he follow me on Facebook at all? I don't think he do, but I ain't going to say his name. He was a big time deacon in the church. Well, he had a boo thing at the job, and he was always trying to get with me. I was like 23 at the time. He's like in his 40s. I'm like, ew. But anyway, he was messing with this lady, and he had got a brand new truck or whatever, and then he wrecked it like a week later. And the word was, she was down there making sure the brakes was working while he was driving, and they wrecked the truck. And so when he approached me, he was like, yeah, well, I want to hang out with you. I said, first of all, you got a wife. Second of all, I said, I hear everything you do with the other girl. I said, I hear all y'all business. He said, yeah, like what? I told him about the truck incident. He was like, I said, so yeah, I wouldn't have. But I said, well, if I was to talk to you, I said, everybody know our business. Now I'm only like 23, 24 at the time. And I'm telling him this. I said, nah, I see your wife. She's a lovely woman, whatever, but I was like, people at the job was sleeping with, I don't even know how much sleeping they was doing, but they were sleeping with each other on the job, in the job, outside of the job, just all of it. But yeah, you go to work, clock in, clock out, and go home. I think that's the best advice. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's hot in here. Deanna, can you turn the what is the thing? The heat down and bring me something cold to drink?
Demetra, it's 18 degrees in your house. It's just that menopause thing you're going through.
No, it's 52 degrees now, but I'm surprised y'all can't hear it. I'm sitting right under the heat, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna melt. Okay, so let's see here. MC, how you doing, by the way? He says, all it takes is being ladies and gentlemen to respect each other. Yeah, just do that, right? Marcella says, a man could smell a woman. Yeah, they can. Michelle, how you doing? Says Demetri K. And Donovan, I didn't get my meat and bread in the, I don't get my meat and bread in the same place. I do know that's right. Marcella says, a man can smell a woman when she's in heat. That is natural. Oh, my God. Carmen says, get in an argument at work and both of you lose your job and have to drive home together fired. Can you imagine that? I know people who at work that were together and they went home and it's like, how do y'all do that? That's just too much.
Well, let's think in the modern age, fellas. I would be, if I was working, I haven't worked in 12 years. If I was a working person still, I would be terrified to mess with the girl at my job because just the mere allegation of me messing with her could come back as sexual harassment, then I lose my job. You know, we got to be smart fellas out here because it isn't like it was back in the day where you could chase old girl around and, you know, oh, no, it's no big deal. Now, the whole thing is, I would be terrified. I would be terrified.
I'm not having no hot flashes, Black America. I'm literally sitting under the heat. And this weather is, it's cold. And we're going to have like 19-degree weather next week, which is really, cold. Here in Houston, of all places. Roz, how you doing? It says factory jobs are a trip. You ain't lying. Folks have their spouses at home and their work wives at the job. I've seen it all. I'm telling you, I have seen it all. I was at Frito-Lay for 13 years. And when I tell you I have seen and heard it all, they said, and I told y'all this once before, but at that job, it was the only place where you could turn a housewife into a hoe. That was the motto there. The only place, because the other way around is you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. But they said that's the only place you can turn a housewife into a hoe. Because there was some, women that come up in there very shy, very nice and all that. And then pretty soon you're like, she let all them dudes do that to her at once? Her? So yeah. Yeah, she was down there checking the brakes. That's what they say. And Miss Sweets, you say, unless we own a business together, I'm not messing with coworkers. Don't mix business with pleasure. Absolutely. I never, ever. Like, nope. Your average logical thinker says, I saw it happen to my OBGYN doc. Watch him get handcuffed and all messing around with an E3. Yeah, just go to work, And Shirley, he said, that's right, Demetri. Deny. It's keep Trump getting donations to this day. If Fanny is smart, she'll stop the side chick behavior and get on with your job. D ain't worth it. Yeah, but if she's done those things, it's kind of too late. And the crazy part is, they really want to get rid of Trump. It's like, why blow it? Why, literally, right? Why blow it with something like that? Because it sounds like a lot of the cases are starting to fall apart. I know they had a hearing. Was it in DC today? Somewhere where they're challenging whether Trump can actually be held accountable for it. Now, I don't know what actually happened with it because I had to go do some things. But it sounds like some of these cases may not stand up. And with this one, you had most of the co-defendants in the case took a deal. Trump and a couple other people didn't. But it's like, so here you are, and this whole case might be thrown out. It could be if she's found doing those things. So just what a shame, Angie, how you doing? Says, hello, I work with a husband and wife. They got into a fight on the job and both got fired and roll home together, shaking my head. See, yeah, Now you're going to argue at home because you're unemployed. Talking about who going to pay the bills. You should have just shut your mouth. Yeah, that I don't know. I just couldn't do it. Michael said, Demetri, do you agree that men should yell at their women for not cooking, cleaning the house, and having it ready? No, I don't think anybody should be yelled at. Most people wouldn't yell at their dog. So why would you yell at a woman? She don't have those things done, and that's something y'all agreed upon. It's about having a conversation. Hey, baby, I thought we agreed that you would do these things in the house and you don't have them done. Is there a reason why that's not taking place? But to yell at somebody, that's barbaric. We're above that. We should be anyway. We should be above yelling at people because you answer me this, Michael. Why would anybody want to yell at somebody making their food? Would you go through the drive-through and say, hey, stupid, why it's taking you so long to take my order? Would you do that? So why would you do it to somebody cooking your food at home? Be like, all right, sucker, I got you. Put some extra spices in your macaroni. Gonna have you on the toilet a little bit longer than you want to be yelling at me. Beverly, you say Frito Lay. You know what? That's a good ass name. Frito Lay. I might name that the name of my book. Black America said that's another reason women shouldn't work with men. Well, we don't mind it. We don't have to work with you. We can work in the house. If y'all go to work, keep us in the house. I gladly do that. Work at home. I like it. Get the campaign going, Black America. The average logical thinker says, I definitely mess around. I've definitely messed around with a higher ranking coworker or two, but they trained me to keep personal off the job. Yeah, and those cases rarely work because sometimes there's other things that enter like jealousy or whatever. And so for me, it's just something I never wanted to do. I was like, nah. And if I lose my job, ain't none of y'all making that kind of money to take care of me and my child. So I'm past. Okay, let's see. William says probably a lot of Frito-Lay. Oh, you ain't lying. Frito-Lay babies out there. Trish, how you doing? Black America says, yes, you should yell, cut off the damn internet. I mean, I don't think you should yell at nobody. Have a conversation. We grown, right? Aren't we mature enough to use as they used to tell us in kindergarten? Use your indoor voices. Don't be yelling at people making your food. That's just pretty silly.
The biggest players of Frito-Lay might be a big thing, but to me, the biggest occupation of players I've ever seen was bus drivers.
No, hell no, truck drivers.
Well, truck drivers, of course, internationally, but I'm talking about in your city. If you're in your city, that you're not doing that, would be bus drivers. Because I see those guys. I mean, these guys have been married 3-4 times, girlfriends on the side. They're dating in the company thing. It's just crazy. It's a crazy thing.
Yes, I don't know. No fraternization if you can help it. Now don't get me wrong. There was some fine dudes up on the jobs like ooh, but no. Donnie says the question today in Trump's case: can the president be convicted of no criminal action? Yeah, so that was the case. So I don't know if they actually came to a conclusion. I was listening a little bit to it in the prosecution. He was all over the place. It's like, wow, that's who the state is getting to represent them. Okay. All right, let's see. William says Biden was booed, but not by the parishioners. Okay, so let's get into that. He said barbers' biggest players are the barbers are the barber shops. And then William says the lady bus drivers are pretty attractive too. I met one. What about lady cab drivers? Lady cab driver. That's my jam.
Doesn't matter where we go, only where we go.
Yeah. Michael says Demetri, men in the 50s believing that slamming the table would motivate women to cook, clean the house, and have the bed made. At that time, men believed that it was okay to control them. Yeah, it was a different time.
It was a different time. Yeah. It was okay, Michael. You see that's what really makes me mad is it's kind of like we take where we live today and we say, oh my God, what's acceptable today might not have been acceptable back then and vice versa, right? So you can't get mad at what was going on 100 years ago. I mean, they had slaves 100 years ago, right? So where's the outrage for that? We don't even have that. We can't even get reparations today. See, so we can't always annotate what's going on today with how people were treated back then. I'm not saying get over it. I'm not saying it's right, but it was the sign of the times.
Yeah, different times, So anyway, let's get back to this Biden and what happened with him. So anyway, yesterday he went and visited Mother Emanuel AME, a church there in South Carolina. It's the same church that 9 parishioners were gunned down by that of Dylan Roof. I think it was 2015? I think 2015 or something like that. So nevertheless, it's not the first time that Biden has gone to South Carolina. Of course, you guys know when he was running for president. I think it was 2019, 2020. He went to talk to, the voters there, specifically Black people. And James Clyburn helped him secure the presidency, because his campaign at the time was not doing well. And so when he went to South Carolina, it helped him get back in the game. And so, of course, he returned there to the church, and to talk about voting and the soul of the nation and the democracy, the same old talking points. And as he was speaking, this happened.
About the lives lost here. You should honor the lives lost and call for a ceasefire in Palestine. Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, so that was a snippet of what happened. So again, he was interrupted, I guess, more than anything. I don't know if heckled is the right word, but he was interrupted. Of course, they're speaking about what's going on there, the Gaza Strip, between Israel and the Palestinians, and what happened on October 7th. And so to this day, they said there's over 20,000 Palestinians that have been taken out of here, just for lack of better words. And so that's why the protesters were there. Of course, we know that the United States are in lockstep with Israel in what's going on with the bombings and things like that. So those people were there, took the opportunity to let him know, hey, you need to cease fire. Of course, the United States, they're now trying to have a conversation about doing it. But, that happened in October, and here we still are. Nevertheless, there was a mixture of people there in the congregation. There's a lot of Black people, and there's some other people, of course, probably because Biden was there. But after the people were escorted out, or while they were being escorted out, of course, we heard them saying 4 more years, 4 more years. So I don't know if people were more shocked about the interruption, or were they more shocked about people yelling 4 more years. But as I think about it, I'm like, why is anybody surprised about them yelling 4 more years? Of course, the other side of that is Trump. So they're saying they want Biden. They don't have a problem with Biden. But of course, they're not really, they don't speak for the rest of Black people. And I say that because I saw an article on Newsweek where Donald Trump is slated to be the first president in history on the Republican side to garner as much the most Black voters. Of course, they said that in 1960, when President Nixon was running for president, he got about 32% of the Black vote. But of course, that was kind of coming off of the heels of Black people predominantly being Republican. Of course, the population of Black people were not that much. I think they said it was about 5 million Black voters at that time. Of course, it's significantly more now. And so it is said that now anywhere between 14 and 30 something percent is what Trump could ultimately get if the election were to happen today. And so they're saying again that Trump is slated to be the first Republican president with the most Black votes, even during a time where he's facing all of those charges, and him considered to be racist and all this other stuff. So Donovan, what is your take on all of that?
Well, again, we were ringing the alarm 3 years ago, Demetra, and it's unfortunate that we were demonized and you must be Republicans and all that other good stuff. But Joe Biden, if we did our homework on him, he is who he is. He is a man of his time. You actually believe somebody who is a silent generation person actually believes that Black and white could live together? This man has done more harm to the Black community than any president before him. As a senator, he continually has done damage to the Black community. I want to remind you guys of this. When a president gets a second term, everything he promises in that second term, he doesn't have to do it all because he's not facing re-election. So he has nothing to lose. We would be damn fools to give this man a second term. Now people say, well, if we get in there, then Trump will get in there. And at least Trump will seal off the border. At least, these things will happen. I think it is a disgrace that you've got these pork chop preachers that will let this man come into that church and speak nothing of Black issues, but yet want our vote. He said nothing about what he's done for Black people in the 3 years that he has been in office. He didn't say one damn thing. All he said was, I started the civil rights movement. By executive order, I did a federal police reform, whatever. But here you got these white people, and we're the only group of people that'll let anybody come up into the church, talk about Palestine. That's not a Black issue, even though a lot of us support what's going on in Palestine and for the Palestinian people. I'm one of them. I don't believe in genocide. I don't believe in that. But not one issue was talked to in regards to Black people. And it's a damn shame that the baby boomers and the silent generation are just content to let this man continue to harm their legacies and all this other stuff. We have less than 300, we have 300 and something days to go before the election. And if the Democrats want my vote, and I'm just gonna say this, it ain't when we get into office. I am not waiting until they get into office, and because I know that that's going to be BS. Because guess what? Let's say they do win a second term. They win the second term, then the Republicans take over. And then what? You're looking at maybe another 8 years of Republican rule. Then everything changes again, right? And other issues come up and things happen, and Black people get shuffled to the bottom. If the Democrats want to save their democracy and secure power, they need to deliver right now a repeal of the 1995 crime bill that Joe Biden authored. They need to come up with tangibles for us to say, okay, it's worth voting for. I'm not telling you guys not to vote Democrat. I'm telling you to vote your interest. But if the Democrats say, yes, we are now issuing checks to Black people as a down payment, vote Democrat, goddammit. Vote Democrat. But this man, to walk up in the church, what should have happened is what happened to Bloomberg when he went down to that church in Mississippi. They should have stood up and turned their back on this man and send a message. It's just disgraceful. But that's South Carolina for you.
Black Americans says Black Americans love gangster, Scarface, Babyface Nelson, the Godfather of Goodfellas, and Trump. Yeah, that's true. Even before Trump became president, he was in a copious amount of rap songs, and he was the symbol of wealth, right? Everybody wanted to be like Trump. Carmen says those Christian people who supposedly shouted that don't even like Muslims. What the heck? When they started caring all of a sudden. Yeah, yeah. Miss Sweet, she says we are not Black if we don't vote for Biden. I definitely didn't vote for him. In the Mixed Radio says, like the Black author Jason Black, the Black Authority rather, Jason Black always says you have to watch them old Negroes. Pamela says, and if I didn't already, how you doing? Says, so this was supposed to be a church and Biden was supposed to be there for 9 Black people who were murdered by racists, and not even mention 9 Black people. What is wrong with Black people in South Carolina? Well, I don't know if he was specifically there for that, although I would think that he would acknowledge it since that's where it happened. But of course, we know that he was there because South Carolina is considered a stronghold as far as, voting, right? And the electorate and all that. In fact, the DNC were trying to get it to where South Carolina would be first in the caucuses, the primaries, if you will. But Iowa was like, no, we always go first. And even if they do change it, we having it first. So, and that's really because of the influence that South Carolina has specifically, I think, with the Black voters. So,
yeah, and actually, he was vice president when he went there, when that actually incident happened. Hasn't been back since. This was the first time coming back. Now, isn't that indicative of the Democratic Party? It's election time. Hey, guys, come vote for me, whatever. Thank you. Once they get the vote, you don't see them until the next election cycle.
Yeah, and so I don't know if he's been back to that church, but he's been there about 4 times since being vice president, and I think president. So about a total of 4 times. Common Man, how you doing? By the way, says the last generation baby boomers are split. We have the step and fetch it baby boomers, and we have the baby boomers that were behind the Black Panthers 100%. That's why Biden is scared. Yeah, and I think that's true. We need to talk about that as well. The baby boomers who were the Black Panthers, right? So absolutely, that's where the new generation gets the inspiration of revolutionary and all that from, is from the baby boomers. And hell, the silent generation. You got Farrakhan's a silent. Yeah, it's definitely a silent generation. So yeah, we got to give tip our hats to them, that portion of the baby boomers and the other generations as well.
Yeah, as long as we're not talking about Panther Bobby Seale. Please, let's not talk about him.
Well, you know, that most of them didn't do what he did, you know, or Bobby Rush. Bobby Rush. Yeah, most of them didn't do what he did. A lot of them, you know, stood 10 toes down, and you know, some of them very elderly at this point are still behind bars. So, Joe L. Cool, how you doing? He says before he became a Republican and naturally turned into a racist. So you're talking about, you're talking about Trump, because he was a Democrat before. In the Mixed Radio, how you doing? He says, where is Kamami at? Oh, my bad. She's out talking to the black feminists and pushing abortion on our sisters. Yeah, you know they're going to do that, right? And Common Man says, the step and fetch it black Americans are in the South. I ain't going to say it. I don't know where they are. I'm going to leave that up to you. Michael says, Demetri and Donovan, Joe Biden said black people don't need student loan forgiveness because they need to work hard and not ask for handouts. Are very intelligent. Please kiss my bubble. Did he say that for real? I mean, did he say it out loud? Let's see here. Marcella says, have you noticed that over the years, men have become too weak and the women have become masculine? Yeah.
By design.
Oh, yeah. In the Mixed Radio says, move these old civil rights black weaklings out of the way. Yeah, well, some young ones in there. It's in the way, too. Shirley says, no more Biden or Trump. He says, let's move on to a younger and better educated group of young black leaders to help this country. I'm an old boomer from Iowa, Donovan, but I agree with you this time. Only Pamela.
Well, the funny thing is we do have a lot of young representatives. There's a new girl out of Dallas, Texas that took what's her name spot when she retired. And of course, she recently died. But these people are being taught by the older civil rights generation to be the sellouts that they are. That's why you don't have any unapologetic young black politicians, because they have been told and taught this is what you say, and you do the line and continue to do what we tell you to do and uphold white supremacy. It's just sad, but it's true.
Right. Let's see here. And Pamela says, and they weren't. These white people run out of that church. And why weren't these white people run out of church? Matter of fact, who invited them anyways? Probably Biden and his flunkies. Bet you can't go to white churches and do all that protesting. Yeah, I mean, you know, of course they didn't go in there and before, I'm sure they had to fill out a bunch of stuff. Oh, by the way, we're going to go in there and heckle Biden. I'm sure they were like, yeah, I know, we're totally on board. What he's saying. And then they, you know, went in there and flipped the script.
Yeah. So, have you noticed that was a hand-picked crowd that was there? That was not an organic crowd out of just people that are just natural supporters or people that are against them. How is the Democratic Party for democracy? And he keeps talking about saving democracy, but yet he won't allow primaries. He won't let Williamson or anybody else put their platform up. Guys, think about that. He's telling you that that Trump and the Republicans are, you know, against democracy, but they're having primaries. I mean, the people that are running it have no chance of beating Trump, but the point is they're having it. The Democrats aren't having any primaries. So how is that democracy?
Well, yeah, there's never been any democracy. It's an illusion, if you will. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I have more of a problem with people in the church talking about some 4 more years. It's like, for what and of what? For what? What do we need 4 more years of what? You just saying it because to me, when I hear 4 more years, I hear vote blue no matter who. And it's like, why? Just, you know, solely because you don't want Trump in there, even though you see that this man that you guys allowed to be in the pulpit is not friendly to black people at all. In fact, he's not going to legislate on behalf of black people. Now, he might have gotten there and lied and said he did this and he did that to George Floyd, this, that, the other. But I've talked about this a copious amount of times. Look into the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. It has no teeth. It can only do something on the federal level. It doesn't speak to the state and local police officers that actually do more harming of black people. So they also know that most people don't care as long as it's not Trump or it's Biden. He's a Democrat and they're in the church. See, because when you mix politics, especially Democrats and Christianity together, you have one hell of a combination, right? And you know, people just tend to think that's where it should be. But the good news is there's a lot of people are waking up, which is why Biden is having to work extra hard at trying to get the black vote back, because for one, they're losing so much of it. And as he said, or when he was the president-elect, black people stood by me, I'm gonna stand by y'all, because he knew he could not have done that without us. But now, because he's lost so much of the black vote. He's got to really get out there and say, all right, here I am and I need you. But if I was any church, I'd be like, you can't come in my church until you come in here talking some real stuff. Like, what are you going to do? Because we're past the conversation of you going to stand by us because you've been in office, for 3 years at this point, and you've not stood by black people. So what are you going to do? Our people want reparations. Are you coming up in here talking about you getting some reparations? Are you going to be specific in a hate crime bill that protects black people? Are you doing anything specifically for black people? Are you just coming up in here and pandering? Well, we know it's pandering because you have somebody like James Clyburn, who is black and has done nothing specifically for black people, so they know they can just go up in there and hem and haw and say, a bunch of nothing, and black people going to scream and shout. But the question needs to be 4 more years of what? Why should you get 4 more years? And why should we help you get it? That's the question. So, you crazy, Jay Bubba, talking about Biden don't have 4 years left. Kermit says they want allowing voting on being, they weren't allowing voting on being a sanctuary. Oh, so they won't allow voting on being a sanctuary city in Chicago, even though the public wants to. Yeah, because they've been a sanctuary city since 1983, so they're going to stay that way. But the question is, why do y'all want to remain a sanctuary city? Well, what's in it for you?
Yeah, wasn't it the Democrats that were mandating vaccines? It seems to me this Biden administration. I'm not going to condemn the whole Democratic Party, but it seems like the Biden administration is very autocratic. Everything is authoritarian, and they're worried about Trump. How could you be worried about Trump and you're seeing what this administration is doing? They're letting people come across the border, breaking our laws illegally, taking our resources to where over 1 million veterans are sitting here homeless, and we're in the wintertime now.
I see that. Let's see here. JL Cool was banned. Why were they banned? I didn't see the comment. Does anybody know why they were banned?
Yeah, they were banned because they called us a clown.
Oh, got you. I don't see it. I got moderators, so I guess y'all know best. Let's see here. Marcelo.
Guys, we don't mind you guys giving your comments and stuff. And there's a way where you can give a negative comment, but do it intelligently. We're not going to tolerate straight out disrespect. I'm just not going to.
Yeah, name calling and stuff is like, come on, man. Let's rise above the fray. We're intelligent people here. We don't have to. I know there's some shows where they do a whole lot of that, calling each other names. We try our hardest not to do that here. Marcella says the ticket is going to read Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama. I can't see that. Maybe Gavin, but I think the DNC is way too cavalier to even take Joe Biden off the ballot. So I can't see that. And Michelle, I don't think she wants to run.
Yeah, and you got to think about this. If we're getting late into the game to try to switch up horses now, if this is the switch to get Gavin Newsom in, how is that democracy? How is that democracy if nobody has actually been able to vote and he's not even a declared candidate? How is that democracy? See, we got to really look past the boogeyman tactics that they keep telling you, having you look this way when they're doing this to you this way with no Vaseline.
Absolutely. He says Black Hill Brenner needs to change his name to that because Democrats can't be recovered now. Some of them can be. They're trying. All right, let's see here. So Uncensored Truth, how you doing? It says Don on point again. And Be Easy, that dude. How you doing? You said they are using illegals as a buffer group to displace and replace the black vote. That is what they're saying.
And Be Easy, that dude. Think about this. They keep talking about voting rights. The voting rights. Every black person that wants to vote, you can vote. If you got an ID, you can vote. If you got some kind of government ID, right? So why would voting rights be important to black people? It isn't, because what it is, like you said with that buffer class, voting rights is to give these illegal people the right to vote, which replaces our vote. That's why the Democrats keep pushing this BS. We've got to really think about the Democratic agenda. Abort your babies, illegal immigration, LGBTQ rights, everything. Everybody's getting a bag, but one group.
Absolutely. Michael, I was reading your comment. It says, Dimitri, you're frustrated with Democrats because they are mother buckers. I said with the B, okay, for everything. I take your word for it. Be Easy says they're fighting for non-citizens to vote as well. Average logical thinker says the only voter suppression I'm hearing about here in Virginia is toward the felons. Other than that, there's no issue. Yeah, it's that making us think that we are the constant victims. They, this voter suppression because they want you to have an ID. I mean, I've never been able to vote, I don't think, and not have an ID. So I don't even that was kind of a new argument, for me, when I heard that. Mike, how you doing? He says, Simone Mammy Sanders is the linebacker literally from the Democratic plantation. Yeah, but that didn't work out so well for her. And Kerman says, but the illegals use them and don't vote Democrat. Good Lord, they are cutting their own throats. Yeah, they tend to be more on the conservative side. They get over here, they say, thanks, Democrats. Now we gonna, go over here. So
right, they get in under Democratic policies, and then they go vote for the other side, and then they identify as white and all that other stuff. See, the Democrats identify them as Latinos and all that other stuff, and they put everybody in groups. And then they identify as white, and then they go over to the Republican side.
Pamela says, some of our people are so scary. It's just ridiculous. Shaking my head. They get to shaking when you mention Trump. Yeah, Biden wrote every bill he could think of to put black men in prison. Yeah, but it's going to show you how easily influenced we are. We're told to be afraid of something like a Trump. And I'm not saying he's a perfect guy, and I'm not telling y'all who to vote for, who not to vote for, but I'm asking y'all to think about it. As you said, Biden has caused more harm to black people than Trump ever has. But for some reason, because it's Trump, then we should fear him. But it's like, look at what's going on. Black people are in the worst condition ever, but yet we're afraid of Trump. Yeah, okay. Yeah, logical thinker, you says, and then it comes to bite them in a behind when Republicans turn and kick their families out. Right. Yeah, that's the saddest thing to watch them say, oh, I voted for Trump, and now my mama got to go. It's like, or he was already talking about that. I don't know why you were shocked. Be Easy says they keep saying blacks should vote Biden because he allegedly capped insulin, $35, Inflation Reduction Act, some student loan debt, and Trump fear-mongering is the Democratic black agenda. But does every black person have diabetes?
Right, that's what I was going to say. How does... But this is how they do us. This is crazy.
I mean, I guess if I had diabetes, that would be a big concern. But it's like, don't act like you probably ain't getting a buck, Joe Biden, from the pharmaceutical companies. You just talking stuff. But why not just tell black people, hey, cut back the sugar? And then you might not need it as much. I don't know. Maybe
right. The Inflation Reduction Act. How does that specifically affect black people? I mean, if you believe the numbers or not, most of us don't make, we're already at the bottom of the socioeconomic scale. So when the inflation goes up, yeah, it affects us more than it does other groups, but everybody got hit by the inflation bill. So that's an American thing. The insulin is an American thing. The student loan debt, that's an American thing. Where is the specific bill for black people? Because why isn't he going to the Asians? He gave them a bill. Why isn't he going to the LGBTQ? He gave them protections. Why isn't he going to the Dreamers? He gave them specific things. Why is he coming to us? He isn't doing nothing for us, so he doesn't have a leg to stand on to ask us for a damn thing at this point. Let him go to the people that he did for and tell them, you better vote for us 100%. But see, all those groups combined cannot give him the votes he needs to stay in the presidency.
Black America, no, non-citizens cannot vote. And Marcella, you say, did you know that Trump is the only president that did not own slaves? Even Obama's family owned slaves. From what I understand is I heard that one before.
Yeah, and back to here, and real quick, back to Black America. So can illegal immigrants vote? No, but there has been a bill in the California Senate right now where they're trying to push that to let them vote. And I think there's another state that's trying to do it as well. So they're trying to push this legislation. I think New York City wants them to be able to vote in elections over there. So these bills are there.
Absolutely. In studio, how you doing? He says no, inflation was reduced because prices are higher than ever. Yeah, it came down a tiny bit, but not enough for people to say, "Woo, I sure can go, buy some eggs now and not have to figure out how I'm gonna pay my mortgage too."
Right, but what took them so long to pass that bill? Think about all of us that had to decide between eating and paying the rent. Like I said, we're at the bottom of the totem pole against other groups. Who does the inflation affect more so? When you got to decide between eating and a roof over your head. Come on.
Right. And Be Easy says he ain't say nothing about the Asians vote. Right. Only Pamela's Way says, yeah, rent, food, utilities are outrageous, but who's in office? Senile Biden and silly Kamala. Michael, you say Joe Biden does not care about making insulin affordable to you, to your brothers and sisters. He needs them to worship him like a slave master. Well, I ain't finna do none of the above. Be Easy, you say, where's the Trans Lives Matter group that Biden invited to the White House? Right. A common man says Obama gave black people nothing. He was just a black face in a high place. Yep. Marcella says, does that make sense? You can have illegals to vote, but people that spent their time in prison cannot come out and vote. Exactly. Pay attention, people.
Did you read Jeb's question? It says, good evening, Donovan, Demetra, and Donovan. I have a question. Could Nikki Haley possibly become president? Did you read that already?
Yeah, I did, and I shook my head. She can, but she won't. If that makes any sense. Yeah, she can, but she won't. I mean, I don't know if you mean because she's Indian American. She's first generation in Indian, so she's born here. She can. She's eligible, but will she win? Nah.
That's so misogynistic. These guys, men are just keeping women down. That we're gonna break that glass ceiling. You're just misogynistic.
I mean, ain't got nothing to do with that. She just ain't gonna win. All right, let me skip down. So Black America says, so why do we keep talking about them voting if they have no impact on voting? But the plan is for them to potentially be able to vote. They're trying to move, certain things around to, I guess, fast track them being citizens is what it is. And then they can vote. So that's where the issue is. William, you say, we need to fire some governors and repeal some laws. I would like to know more about writing bills and getting legislation going. Be Easy says Massachusetts is pushing for illegal votes as well as its Democratic strategy. Also, they can give them TPS and redistricting to rig the votes. Yeah, so you have a lot of that going on.
Yeah, how many of you guys heard Jimbo Clyburn? It has been said, allegedly, his staff, when they did the redistricting in South Carolina, him and his staff were involved in the redistricting. And notice his area is as where the conglomeration of like most of the black people in South Carolina are. He's the only black representative in the congressional delegation in South Carolina. So he didn't care that all the other districts would be affected as long as his wasn't. Which is why he's a power in South Carolina.
Herschel, how you doing? He says they already passed the law allowing immigrants to vote in local New York elections. Oh, if they did, there you go. Enlighten, how you doing? He says there are some some locations that will allow non-citizens to vote in local elections, such as city councils. Yep. So it's already going on. Black America says I'm a felon and I can vote. In Nevada gave us voting rights back. Yeah, but that's not true in all of the states. So there's some who are giving them back, but some of them are not. But it makes a good point. They're trying to make it for people who are not citizens to vote, but you have people who are citizens who cannot vote. So Jay Bubba, you say have Roland blocked y'all. Yeah, I got blocked on the show and Twitter. He made me ask why he ain't talking about he's blocked me on Twitter. He had a whole tirade one whole day about me, little old me. But yeah, he blocked me on Twitter. He ain't saying nothing. Roland ain't saying nothing.
You idiots! You idiots! You don't know about no politics,
Yeah. I mean, he ain't saying nothing that's really worth listening to. He's not going to change his talking points. Like you said, the fact that he won't even give the conversation about migrants and what's going on with black people in certain places like New York and Chicago is very telling. He should not be listened to. In fact, he should be shunned because he cares not for black people. He only cares for the establishment. I think that makes it really clear, And studio say Biden wants illegals to join the military and then he will give them citizenship so they can vote. Yeah.
Well, also, the military has a 25% shortfall of recruitment. So, as you guys know, the military is a mercenary force that is used by other nations, especially in the Middle East, people that have money to do the bidding of the corporations. So that is why.
I mean, sweet, you say. Voting on the local level, campaign contributions, and attending common city council committees are very important. We have become more political minded in our communities. We have to rather become more political minded. Absolutely. Let's see here. Big Rich says, if I'm not mistaken, are they trying to make migrant police officers too? Yep. In some places they are. You are right. Be Easy says Clyburn worked with Republicans to give up black political power to racist white representatives, all so he can win unchallenged. And yeah, he's been doing that for a long time, and he's gonna run again. Oh, thank you, Miss Sweets. You say your voice is powerful. Roland is a hater. Yeah, Roland is he's mad because he got a lot in the new black media, if you will, that is just saying, nah, it ain't what you've been told it is. This is actually what's going on, and they don't want the truth to be known. So, yeah, he definitely blocked me. He was mad as hell.
Well, the sad thing about the Democratic Party, which is run by silent generation people and baby boomers, they are still using the same playbook they've used since the 60s. And see, that is the problem with our older group. They do not want to give up power, and they don't want to evolve as technology and things have evolved. And with the social media and things like this, we're talking as a group. We're not talking regionally anymore, but they haven't evolved in their tactics. As long as you've got these old bootlicking civil rights Arab folks that don't give a damn about their children or their grandchildren or their great grandchildren, they're going to keep using the same playbook. This is why 3 years ago, people were ringing the alarm that the Democrats were in trouble because they're not coming through on their promises. Why is it all of a sudden now, when we're in the fourth quarter, Biden is now like, oh my God, what's really going on here? What do you mean that the Negroes ain't going to vote for me? I mean, they're stuck in their own delusion because they were not reading the tea leaves. Everybody's reading the polls. Everybody was telling them. I remember people that were telling me, oh, Donovan, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh no, give him time. He's going to do this for black people. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Here we are 3 years in the game, and now they're panicking at 26% of the black vote possibly going to Donald Trump.
Absolutely. Easy. Are you in this chat still? Easy 777. Are you still in the chat? I haven't seen you comment because he actually asked me about vegan recipes and all that other stuff, and I told him that I would have a conversation about it here and really just eating healthy. So I don't know if he's still here. I'll give him a second to see if he's here. I want to talk about it, and he's not still here. So y'all want us to share the link? If y'all want the link, now again, I have rules. Let's keep it to the conversation. And y'all know what I'm talking about. If you've said what you've said a million times, don't come up here and say it 1,000,001 more times, so that we can keep it interesting up here. But I'm waiting to see if Easy is still in the chat. Okay, yeah, Michael, you know what I'm talking about. You gonna come up here and ask about reparations, and I don't have a problem with that. So what else y'all want to talk about? I mean, there's a lot of things we can talk about. I know I said last time we were going to talk about the 215 bodies that they found there in Mississippi, Hinds County, behind the jail. And I've actually covered this story twice for the African Diaspora News Channel. One gentleman by the name of Dexter Wade, and the other gentleman, his name slips my mind. But I've been talking about it. And so now everybody's kind of in an outrage, right? Why ain't nobody talking about it? Nobody's talking about what's going on in Mississippi. And it's like, well, people have been talking about it, you just don't care. But now that Benjamin Crump has, taken the lead, if you will, and he's kind of been involved as well. But now it's been discovered that there's 215. And I saw a report that now they found like 600 and something. So I don't know how true that story is. I definitely know. Hey, Brother Jonell. I definitely know about the 215 bodies that have been found. But basically, they're trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. They want an investigation. Now, these bodies are being buried behind the jail in Jackson, Mississippi, to be exact. And there's a metal rod and a number that indicates, I guess, that somebody is there. I don't know if it necessarily indicates who is there, but it definitely says that somebody is there. And so they're wanting to know, why are these bodies there? Now, in a lot of these cases, especially the ones that I covered, the parents and the family did not know where their loved one was. Like with Dexter Wade, it was discovered that he was actually hit by an off-duty police officer while, for whatever reason, he was crossing the highway or something like that. And instead of, I guess, really trying to notify his family, he died and they buried him. Now, when they excavated his body, if you will, or exhumed, I should say, his body, they also found that his leg was amputated. But before that, his mom was looking for him for a couple of months. Then finally they found out that's where he was. And of course, they, being the coroner and the authorities, they were like, well, we were trying to reach you. We called you and we even put a card on your door. And she said, you're lying. You know, I'm looking for my son. If y'all would have left a message or a card or something, I definitely would have gotten back to you. So yeah, it sounds like it's an issue of a copious amount of bodies back there, and they want to know why. But of course, we know that somewhere like Jackson, Mississippi, where it is extremely poor, it has a high concentration of Black people. I want to say to the tune of about 85% of the population there is Black people. In turn, I'm not quite sure how the government is there, the city council and things like that, but it could potentially be like a plantation where those that are the overseers, if you will, they don't care much about Black life and they do what they want. I think they tend to think people there are uneducated. I'm not saying that they are, but I think that's kind of the misconception, because how can you explain burying 215 people and not, thinking about notifying their next of kin or anything like that? So there's definitely something nefarious going on there. But the other thing is, people are outraged because nobody's talking about it, because it's like, as I say here, there's a lot of things that we could talk about, and we have hundreds of people watching at once, right? If I was to get on here and start talking below the belt and under the clothes and about just absolute nonsense, then yeah, we have a lot of people tuned in. And I think it's really just the nature of the beast. People aren't really care about those things that should matter, because we should care as to why there's 215 people buried and their loved ones aren't notified. But then we have the audacity as a society, especially as Black people, ask, well, why aren't people talking about it? Because you ain't going to listen. And, I don't necessarily do this show for money. And I'm just going to be honest with you. But there's a lot of people who do the show or their shows for money. And they want to spend time doing the shows on things they know people are going to be interested in. That's why you see a lot of content with clickbait or a lot of low-hanging fruit conversation, because they know if you guys come over, click, like, share, comment, then with the engagement, when the engagement goes up, then the paycheck goes up. But if Black people were more interested in finding out why there's 215 potentially all Black bodies buried there, then I think people will talk about it. So what I'm saying is, it's not just on the content creator or people who have platforms, it's also on the audience, the viewer, to demand more. Case in point, you go to the movie, let's say there's a movie about Marcus Garvey comes out. Is that going to do numbers at the box office? No, it's probably not. But if something comes out that's considered low-hanging fruit as far as in our community, it's going to do numbers at the box office. So those are the things we have to really consider.
And I want you guys to consider this. Those 200 and something bodies, do you think that was done by members of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party? We know that they're both upholding white supremacy, but let's use our common sense here. It's in the South. It's during probably the 1960s, probably even longer than that. A lot of the Democrats live in southern states. They started the Civil War, all that great stuff like that, right? This is the party that does this. Joe Biden is a Dixiecrat. He hung out with Eastland and a lot of Dixiecrats and all this other stuff, right? So my point is this. Emmett Till, the one thing that Biden did talk about at the church was how Emmett Till's mother had all this, how he did I think they did a memorial for her, or whatever, a statue they did or something in Washington, the Emmett Till memorial thing and the bill and all that. He was talking about all that stuff that he did. But his Justice Department let this woman die without facing justice. Do you guys remember that? This woman, there is no statute of limitations on murder. And this woman was allowed to hide and go underground and not face justice. This was under the Biden administration. And you mean to tell me that you're telling me a man that is a known Dixiecrat and has done harm to the Black community, oh, he's changed. Oh, he's for Black people. Show me where. I'm not a very educated man, Demetra, but I do look at reality and what I see in front of me. And I don't see anything that this man has done that has benefited Black people.
No, he hasn't. I'm going to share the link right now. As y'all can tell, I am struggling. I'm tired. I get up early sometimes, and I work all day, even up. I got to finish working tonight, but that's what I do. All right, so I'm gonna share this link, and as I said, let's please give everybody else a chance to come up here. I see some new people want me to share the link, so I'm going to do that. If I've not seen you up here before, please make sure that I see your face, so I can verify that it is you. And I want to get back. Let's see who Miss B. How you doing? Who else came up here? Black America. I did see the movie Life. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was it supposed to be a comedy or a drama? I don't know. Let's see. I actually want to go back to somebody's comment. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. And William, somebody's robbing the tombstones from the grave, allegedly brass in them. That sounds like a very hard job to do. To like pry the brass out of a tombstone. It's like, my God, if you can take the time to do that, take the time to go create a job or something. Be easy says talk about them using DEI as the new woke word. So diversity. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah, that I don't even pay that no mind, because there's no such thing as diversity, equity, or inclusion, especially with Black people. It is, to me, the new woke word. But in a lot of places, they're getting rid of such terminology. So, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we're not ever going to be considered equal. Why would the master make the slave equal to them? So that's just more smoke and mirrors. Black America, I see you up here. You better have something insightful to say, but hold on one second. Oh, and let me finish that. You also say the new videos of the little girls learning pole dancing and twerking. Oops, he clicked off. The videos of the little girls learning pole dancing and twerking. I saw that and I was like, I'm not going to really give that a lot of light, because, I kind of just feel like this. It's the internet, and there's more sisters, and some of those didn't even look like sisters that were doing it. But there's more women that are not teaching babies how to twerk than there are women, or whoever it is, teaching babies how to twerk. So I think that's kind of where we should be, on the mamas who's teaching their babies something that they can use. I don't even know why they would even teach a baby to twerk. Is stupid at this point. Why even we have grown women doing it? Stupid to me. But I also say, why 40 million people will watch Cat Williams' interview, but not an educational video. I saw the video. I like Cat Williams. I actually thought that the video was actually pretty educational, because Cat imparted a lot of wisdom from that very wise guy, very smart individual. So I actually loved the interview, because he enlightened a lot of people to things. So it wasn't all comedy, but it was definitely a learning experience. So I understand why it got 40 million views. Willie D interviewed Cat. The video's also doing numbers, but we didn't really learn anything that we didn't learn before. Even Cat was like, you ask horrible questions. He said that at the end to him. I was like, wow, tell him how you really feel. So I like Cat Williams nevertheless, though. All right, let's see here. Miss Sweet Talks, I see you wanted the link. Let me know if you see the link there. I'm just trying to see. Damon, how you doing? Jamarcus, what's going on with you? Just trying to acknowledge new people who have come on. Michael, you come up here, you better have something new to say. If you don't, I'm clicking you off. Let's see here. Who else came up here? David, how you doing? It says war on drugs and Biden. Crime bill hurt people of color that it makes generations that may take generations, to recover. Be Easy says Willie D flopped with the interview. Shout out to Big Bro though. Yeah, you got to kind of get to the part where he was really talking about Ali Sadiq. That was very interesting. Ali Sadiq is a comedian out here. He's from Houston, and I think he has a couple of Netflix specials and things like that. But he had a beef with Cat Williams, and it's funny because I was in a car when and he's also on the radio. If I didn't say that. Ali Sadiq was talking about it. He's really mad at Cat Williams, and Cat Williams was like, I don't even know the guy. Why is he mad at me for? And Ali has challenged him to a celebrity boxing match. And he says, first of all, you got to be a celebrity. He says, and also you got to be able to sell tickets. He says, because I'm going to sell tickets. I'm going to do numbers. He says, but you got to be able to sell some tickets too. You ain't just basically coming to the ring off my name. So I'm like, ouch. All right. Like America, what's on your mind?
Good afternoon. Hello. How's everybody doing today?
We're doing marvelous. How about yourself?
Demetra and Donovan, and hello, chat. So I just have a question. You talked about the 200 bodies behind the prison. So I was in prison, and if you guys ever seen the movie Life, it's like that when you go to prison in certain places. Where I was at, the average sentence for a prisoner was 42 years. That was the average sentence for a prisoner. So depending on how long.
Years?
Huh?
42 years?
Yeah, 42 years was the average sentence where I was at. That was the average sentence. Does that shock you?
Average, yeah, that does shock me.
Okay, so that was the average sentence for a prisoner where I was locked up at. Now, if you ever seen the movie Life, some people stay there until the day they pass away. And if you've been there a copious amount of years, there's nowhere else for that person to go. You bury them right there in the back. And you know,
do you bury them without the knowledge of their family? Some cases, like the one with Dexter Wade, he wasn't in jail. He was just walking across the freeway or whatever and got hit by an all-duty police officer, and they buried him behind there without the knowledge of his family.
Okay, so I have no knowledge about that, but
and another guy too who wasn't an inmate.
Okay, well, once again, I have no knowledge about those particular cases, but it's always some kind of mitigating circumstance. Hell, I think the police is dirty, so something like that, they was probably trying to cover it up. Did he have ID on him? Was he drunk? Was the police drunk when he hit him? It's all kind of different circumstances.
So Dexter had ID on him. In fact, it was in his pocket, even when they buried him in the same clothes. And they said that they didn't know who he was, but when Benjamin Crump and them exhumed the body, they found his ID in his pocket.
Yeah, well, it was probably a cop trying to cover it up. We know police cover things up when it comes to us. So, but what I want to get across to you is people that go to jail or prison for long, copious amounts of time, after a certain amount of time, you don't have anybody on the outside that cares about you. And I'm sorry to say that to people that, I had an uncle that was in jail. Nobody gives two rat butts about people once they go away for a long time. Anything over about 15 to 20 years, that person is no longer a person. They no longer consider themselves part of a community, of a family, anything like that. And back then, they were giving people football numbers. Football numbers mean all day, 56, 75 years.
And I know you know the answer to this. When you do jail time, is it different than prison time?
Oh, yeah. Prison is much better than jail.
And how much do you typically time do you do in jail before they move you to the big house?
You can do anything over a year and a day, then you go to prison.
Yeah, right. So if we're talking about a jail, why would they be burying inmates to the tune of 215 of them behind a jail? And as I said, the stories that I covered, they weren't inmates. So what are they doing being buried? Actually, the cemetery, I should say, it's a pauper's cemetery that happens to be located behind the jail. So that's exactly what it is.
Okay, well, indigent people die in jail. We have a large homeless population. Nobody cares about the homeless.
They want people.
If I had a homeless uncle, I'm not going to pick his body up from the jail.
Yeah,
I'm going to let them bury his butt right there.
But they're not homeless people. These people's parents and family didn't even know where they were until they did. So these aren't homeless people.
Well, you cited 2 cases. Is that all 250 people?
It's under investigation because they just got knowledge that that was even there, that those 215 people are there. So they don't know exactly who they are, but the 2 that they've uncovered so far were not homeless and they were not inmates.
Okay, well, I mean, I would like to see the discovery on that and see what comes of it. Like I said, I believe that police cover things up all the time. So I'm not a fan of the cops. So if that's what it's going to be, then that's what it's going to be. I like to see police go to jail. Any other questions about jail or prison?
No, but I'm going to let Michael ask this question. And Armageddon, I see you. If you want to keep your face covered, you can. If you don't, you can, either way, before I bring you up, I'll let you decide. You want to put your emoji or whatever back up, let me know. You're good like that? Okay, so I'm gonna bring you up and I'm gonna put you on mute. Michael, what's going on with you?
Hi, Dimitri. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. How about yourself? What's on your mind?
Yeah, breaking news to tell you very quickly. Just got breaking news. Republicans have finally agreed to introduce reparations for ADOS, and they're willing to meet with Black voters, and they're serious about it before 2024. I'm serious. I'm not lying.
Where can we see this information? I don't say I believe you, but I won't trust and verify. Where is this information at?
Just watch. Are you familiar with the Hill?
Yes, I am.
Yes, go to the Hill. Go to the Washington Times, Los Angeles Times, San Francisco. I don't know the article. The San Francisco Chronicle.
I know what that is.
And also, Republican politicians are willing to meet with all of you. They can't wait because they know they need you guys to count for them in 2024.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to look that up.
Can I say something about that too, right quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we keep talking about reparations for Black Americans, right? And we want Black Americans to get this money and, their reparations and things like that. What I want everybody that can hear my voice, you and Donovan included, I want you to think about what America would look like the day after Black Americans get their reparations, with no Black truck drivers, with no Black sanitation workers, so if you guys don't know, as far as Black Americans, we cover transportation and logistics in this company. Everybody was having a fit about toilet tissue when the virus hit. Think about Black men like me getting, up there. We're up there in age, getting a couple of bucks in our pocket. It'll be no reason to come to work. You guys, there will be no food, no toilet tissue. Garbage won't be picked up. There will be nothing on the shelves in the grocery stores. So, I mean, I understand what you guys are talking about, but you really need to look at it. If the Black workforce, like, we can go through history and say that America gave policing and firefighting to the Irish. I was a firefighter when I was young. They gave policing and firefighting to the Irish. Black people control transportation and logistics.
Yeah, but you know what? I hear what
bus drivers.
That ain't got nothing to do with us. We want our money. Next. We want our money. Ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? So they never cared about Black people and logistics before, but now we want our money. It's like, oh, we need you to show up to work, please.
Yeah, but how are you going to eat? That's what I'm saying. You will no longer be able to eat.
You know what though? If I have a couple more dollars in my pocket, I'll figure it out. If I got to go back and grow a garden, I can figure that out.
Well, with the immigration that they're bringing in, there should be plenty of people to serve all that stuff that we would be missing. I mean, 250 Ukrainians have come into the country. 500,000 legalized by executive order. Joe Biden. Venezuelans have come into the country that are authorized to work. So we've got the workforce already in place and still coming.
Problem solved. Armageddon, how you doing, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. How are you?
I'm okay. I had something to say about the bodies and stuff that was found. I believe that they probably do that in other places, and I think the fact that us as Black Americans, well, the people are putting a value on human life. If we actually start having those people held accountable, because that kind of stuff happens because of lack of accountability. You know, they don't want to take accountability for anything. And if we hold them to, hey, we don't just want that money right there for you killing my son. I want y'all in prison so y'all won't be able to kill somebody else like this. You know, they put them in prison. You know, I mean, from the bottom and to the top, like, hey, you covered it up. Because I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, and I know you probably heard of there was a teenager killed at this high school I went at, and they covered it up and stuff like that at over at Lowndes High School. I forgot the guy's name, but their family been fighting for it. They say he was rolled up in a gym mat and it was covered up. I mean, they do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They do that a lot, and nobody goes to nobody. They got all the money in the world, because think about how much money they get from even the traffic tickets and stuff like that, and we're getting paid with the money that we're being oppressed with. You know, it ain't nothing for them to, hey, here's a few $1 million, here's your hush money, get out my face. You know, but if we start, hey, holding these people, sending these people to prison for not just killing us, but for also covering it up and stuff like that, you know, I think there will start being some kind of a change, you know, because they don't want to be in prison with more of us, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And your average article, thank you. Yes, that's what it is. Kendrick Johnson, 2013, he was found rolled up in a mat at school with his organs and everything removed. And of course, it's this big mystery. But I smiled when you said Valdosta, because my mama was born in Valdosta.
Right.
Yes.
But the sad thing about that, and I agree with everything that you just said, the sad thing about that is there's always going to be a group of people that are going to get their butter biscuits. Look at the George Floyd people that took their money, and now they don't speak about injustice or anything like that. I mean, you know, this is kind of goes on and on and on. We get a bag off of a dead person in our family, and we just move on with our lives. And it's just so sad that there's always going to be people like that rather just get the bag, and then, you know, they roll them out when they need to roll them out, but they are unapologetic about. I mean, George Floyd's family, when that bill did not pass Congress, did you see any member of his family in the press chastising congressmen and Biden or any people in regards to that bill not passing and having teeth? Not one of them. They got paid and they went out their way.
Yeah, and that's sad. That really is, because we need to push them more, you know, because they don't want to be in prison. They already don't like Black folks. They don't want to be in prison where they can't go home, you know.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, anybody else got anything else to add? I'm going to actually switch gears. I've been promising Easy. I was going to touch upon something he's been asking me for about a week or so now, and I'd be remiss if I did not. But if y'all have anything else, so thank you, Armageddon. Come up and see us again. Okay. Michael, come up and see us again in Black America. Come up and see us again.
Oh.
I see y'all gentlemen later. Move them. Okay. Easy, are you still here? I know you saw you were still here. I said you saw you were here a couple of minutes ago. Michelle, did I say hello to you? How you doing? Thank you so much. Damon says that CBC is useless. Yeah, they don't care about us. I hope Easy is still here. But if he's not, I'm going to talk about it nevertheless. Donovan, you got anything to add?
Oh, no. Like I said, I think this is a great chat. Black America always brings in, he makes the show. I mean, sometimes when it comes down to it, just the look on your face when he comes up is priceless.
like this. So anyway, yeah, Easy has been asking me about recipes. I dabble with, I won't say I'm vegan anymore. I do a lot of plant-based. And people ask me about recipes all the time. I don't do recipes. I'm one of those people, I just kind of mix stuff together. Like if I have something, I look in the refrigerator and I'll look and see like, okay, I'm gonna put this and that together. I don't know, just the way my brain works. And it comes out pretty good usually. But what I will say as far as, and I don't know if the question was really more or less just about doing more plant-based or being vegan. The key to, this is what I'll tell you. I first became a vegan. Now I'm telling y'all vegan opposed to plant-based because that's what it was back then. As a vegan is you eat partake of no animal, nothing, right? No animal, nothing. You don't wear animal anything, leather, any of that kind of stuff. You do not harm animals in any way, shape, or form. So I necessarily didn't get into veganism back in 2014 for the animals, because I'm not an animal person, but I'm not against animals, if that makes any sense. Because I was one of those people, well, I'm being a vegan for me. Animal is more important than me, right? But that's the whole premise of veganism. But what happened is over the years, I would say it's gotten lost in translation because people, for one, it got kind of territorial too, where vegans are like, oh, you're a horrible person, you're gonna die, you're going to hell, all that other stuff. It's like, gosh, well, the other premise of veganism is peace, right? You're supposed to be at peace and one with the universe and all that other stuff. But it got really dangerous to kind of say, well, I like to eat honey every once in a while. Oh, you're killing bees, you're a horrible, so it got to that point. So then people started using the term plant-based. Now, going back to veganism, Oreos are vegan. French fries are vegan. Especially now, when I was a vegan back in 2014, you didn't have Impossible meat and the cheeses and that stuff didn't exist. You just really kind of got it out the mud, almost kind of literally, and you ate plants. But now, especially in 2024, you have so many things that are considered vegan because they don't use animal-based products. But there's a lot of chemicals and sugar and salts and fats and just a whole bunch of stuff that aren't good for you, because back in the day, you didn't see as many overweight vegans, right? Because you did it right. But now a lot of vegans are fat because there's just stuff that's not good for you. So with me, I do eat some meat every once in a while. But I try to spend my time eating more plants being fruits and vegetables, more vegetables than fruit, because I try to stay away from sugar. I'm on this thing to where I don't eat sugar if I don't have to at all. But as far as recipes, I just say, think of the things that you like and put them together. Think what would be good with this or what would be good with that. And, put them together. I don't know. Some of the things that I like to make, I've made a chickpea burger. Chickpea barbecue burger. Now, some people are probably like, ew, that's gross. But what I do is just take some chickpeas. They can be canned or whatever. I try to do organic. I put them in a pan with a little bit of oil, season them up real good and cook them, heat them up anyway, because I already cooked. And then I pour some barbecue sauce on them. Then I'll get like a bun and put the chickpeas in the bun. I might put some pickles or some lettuce or tomato in it. It's pretty good. So, stuff like that. But as far as recipes, that's just something I don't do. I just kind of throw stuff together. Even when I juice, I usually juice what I have left over in the refrigerator, like vegetables that are maybe going to kind of wilt and not be as crisp. I'll take them and I'll blend them up. Like last week, I made a green juice and it had fennel, green apple, bok choy, and celery. And it was really good. In fact, I bought some more stuff to make some tomorrow. So, but as far as eating better plant-based, just eat more plants. Eat more plants, less of the other stuff. And as I said to y'all, as far as the sugar is concerned, I just don't do sugar. And I wish that I would have learned about sugar a long time ago, really in detail. I study it now. I'm reading books about it. And sugar is not good for you in any way, shape, and form. In fact, they say sugar is actually the one that causes high blood pressure. It's not salt. And there's been a lot of they eat a lot of salt. A lot of Asian countries, they eat a lot of salt, and in fact, their blood pressure is at record lows. There is no correlation between eating salt and high blood pressure, but they say when you factor sugar into it, it definitely is bad for you. So that's kind of what I'm on now. And of course, there's exercising. You want to do that. And I know, of course, at the beginning of the year, everybody's all in. I haven't even gone to the gym yet because I already know, okay, the gym is busting at the seams with people. I'm getting after it. This is my year. I'm getting my, my summer body ready. And then 3 weeks later, they're going to be like, yeah, that was cute. Then you can go into the gym and and get on all the stuff.
Yeah. Did you hear that these social influencers that keep saying that there's nothing wrong with body, fat body shaming, and you could eat, and all of these people? There's been a report, and you can find it on YouTube, where they did a listing of all these influencers, these people that think being overweight is no problem and you're healthy. These people are dying in their 30s.
Yeah. And people are dying earlier anyway, just because people aren't eating right. They're not exercising. I mean, I was thinking about it today. Y'all heard of Ozempic, the weight loss drug that was really for people who were diabetic. And now it's been discovered as of a couple years, I guess, maybe. I don't know. We've heard a lot about it in the last year. It's been discovered as a weight loss drug. And so all these celebrities were doing it or some form of it. And at one point in time, it was hundreds of dollars per shot. Sounds like you have to get it very often. So then now they got these knockoff weight loss alternatives, if you will, that people are doing. So when I think about it, I'm like, what happened to people working out? What happened to people who, want to just eat sensibly? What happened to that? I want it right now. I don't want to work for it. But then I think about back in the day. Y'all remember in the 90s where Fen-Phen? Y'all remember that weight loss drug was Fen-Phen? Everybody was taking Fen-Phen. It was all the rage. People were walking around with these bobbleheads and skinny bodies because they lost all this weight. But then shortly after that, you heard about the heart issues that people were having allegedly from this Fen-Phen. And some people allegedly died from it. And so it's like, here we are in 2023, 24, and we're hearing the same thing. It's like, when are you fools going to learn? And I mean that respectfully, because the drug is for people who actually need it, like diabetics. But then you got people who just don't want to get on their tennis shoes and run around the track. You got them taking the drug. And it's like, okay, do you know that? Because I've researched that too. With those type of things, you got to keep doing it. The minute you stop, bam, you got an extra ass. It comes back. It comes back with a vengeance. So it's like, I always know and I believe that dieting and exercising, it don't start in your mouth first or in your body. You do weightlifting. It starts here. It starts in your mind. You got to just decide, you know what? I'm going to stop eating as much. I don't like to sweat or, work. But I'm going to get out there, because like you said, Donovan, people are checking out of here in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Hell, that's still young. As I always talk about, it says a baby born today should be live to be at least a healthy 120 years old. But we are going backwards because for whatever reason, we're just getting worse.
I just want to add this. Do you guys ever notice that there is it's an epidemic, and it's only in America, or at least the Western countries, modern Western countries, where people have athletic equipment in their home that they don't even use. Be it a bike, be it a bow trainer, be it something, and it's like they get it at first, and then it's just there, and it's like part of the living decor and stuff like that, and it's a phenomenon that is only in most Western countries. But that goes to show you that we are looking for a silver bullet to solve all our problems, a magic pill. And that's the problem with the Western, because if you go to Africa, a lot of Asian countries, you're not going to see that type of equipment there. It's crazy. Yeah, Peloton is another one. These things that it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and Easy, you're right. You say gyms make money from January to June. I wouldn't even think June, because even shortly after that, people just stop going. Because the people have all these New Year's resolutions they ain't trying to keep, and they go and get a gym membership. They go in there, the classes are busting at the seams, and then after that, you're good. But yeah, and then come the next year, okay, I'm gonna do it for real this time. And JJ, how you doing? Says a lot of churches are like that. Let's see who else came on here. Tito, how you doing? Says just get a bike. You get a bike. I have an exercise bike. It's in my room. I got weights of different sizes, or I guess pounds, if you will. And I use them at least 3 to 4 times a week. I lift weights, but I use all my stuff. Yeah, Trisha, it was for diabetics, but people now everybody else uses in the studio. It says people are dying sooner because of all the drugs being advertised and pushing it back in the day. You could not advertise drugs on commercial. Yeah, they got all kind of stuff you can do, especially on the urban radio stations. You hear about these weight loss drugs and stuff. And it's like, why not just tell, us to eat right, exercise, drink some water, less stress, turn off the TV more and move around. Because Donovan, that's what they do in the blue zones, Okinawa being one. They say they don't even necessarily do like exercising, like running and weightlifting. They just move around. They're moving around, whether they're gardening, they're walking, they're intentional with their motion, right? But typically over here in America, it's like you're changing the channel,
And it was like the old days where they would call you from the playground to come change the channel with the pliers. Or move the antenna.
And then in your mind, it's like, what the hell wrong with you, Mom? Of course, you never said nothing like that because you might get them pliers chucked at you, right? Just do what I say. All my children coming home.
And only in the Black community. A TV on top of a TV. Once that one went out, you put the other TV on top of it.
Why? Still got that big old box floor model sitting on there. The wood is chipping off the side of it. It's like, come on. And Damon says, my arse is my gym equipment. What? Ardiva says, eating 1 meal a day, a whole food vegan diet with no salt, fried foods will get and keep you at your natural weight. Yeah, definitely a whole food diet. Like I said, I'm not as vegan as much anymore. I don't really eat a lot of meat, mostly plant-based, but every once in a while, not a red meat eater, don't eat pork. Very leery of a bunch of fish and stuff. So if I eat chicken, it's every once in a while, or whatever the case is. But as I said, with salt, we really need to learn about salt and sugar, because we're taught that salt is the culprit, and to some people it is, but it's really the sugar. Sugar, it just wreaks havoc on one's body inside and out, and I'm quite deathly afraid of it now. Knowing exactly what I know about it. I don't work out as much. Oh, okay, gotcha. Your acre. What did I say? Oh, I said ours. I'm tripping. I'm tired, Damon. Hey, your acre. You got an acre. Oh, yeah, shoot. If I had an acre of land, I'd be running circles around it. Yeah, but know what I know about sugar now is like, yeah, my daughter tell you I'm a maniac. She's like, damn, you got to check everything. Yep, I need to check everything. The sugar content, make sure I'm not over absorbing it. We know that it's has a lot of negative effects. Could be cancer causing. Just a whole lot of stuff. So I don't work out as much as I used to. I do, but I guess I don't work out as hard as I used to. I used to do a lot of cardio, and I would get some results, but I'm getting better results now that I'm watching my sugar intake and just being mindful. So yeah, JJ says, I remember a dumb married brother on the job got canned for emailing sleazy stuff to women. Oh, Lord. Oh, so he must be watching the playback. Okay. Michelle, how you doing? If I didn't already, says Elijah McCain's murder got 14 months in the county jail. Yeah. And that's unfortunate. I think it was 2 paramedics and 1 officer that finally got found guilty. But I think we kind of anticipated that they were going to get a slap on the wrist for what they did to that young brother. But I love his mother's attitude. She was like, I hope they, when they get there, they rot in hell. That's what I have for them, to rot in hell. They're not going to get no, I forgive you and rot in hell. So she's on the right track. Studio says in Thailand, old people are still farmers and farming the land, and that's a natural way to be in shape. Yep, just move around. Hey, Channy, how you doing? Yes, you finally called us. We about to get out of here in just a second. And your average logical thinker says, gee, I was going to skip the elliptical today, but I'm feeling guilty now, guys. Well, you don't have to go, but they say health, and fitness is 80% diet and 20% exercise. It's really what you put in your body. They say abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym. Because you eat the wrong things. Of course, you have a lot of fat on your stomach and all that kind of stuff. But if you just pull back from the table and eat the right things, then your stomach will go down.
And then I just want to add this. I mean, the pandemic has taught us anything. If you're a homeowner, you should have some kind of fiber tree or fruit tree in your backyard. And even if you live in an apartment, you can still get a container plant and grow on your patio or whatever you do. And that way, you know, in case it goes down one more time, you won't starve.
Well, I know where I'm going. I'm going right over to Donovan's, hopping the fence. Donovan got a whole Garden of Eden back there.
You know, and you know what's really funny? My two neighbors off to the side of me, they've now put in a bunch of plants and stuff as well, because they saw, you know, what I had in my backyard, and they're like, hey, we're not going to go without either. So
nah, they saw you shining your pieces in your backyard, talking about I do whatever from my cold dead hands. It's like, yeah, we ain't gonna be able to take this, brother, so let's grow our own stuff. Donovan walking around his backyard like
yep, and I'm putting the wire on the top of the fence.
Damon says, yes, Okinawa and the main island during my military days. Yeah, they're considered one of, I think it's 9 or 7, maybe 11, yep. I don't know, blue zones in the world.
Yeah. What some of the oldest living people are in Okinawa.
Yep, that's the Centurions is what they call them. And you know, they have one right there in Loma Linda. That's a blue zone as well, because of the Seventh-day Adventists. They're typically like plant-based and vegetarian as well. So they're also considered a blue zone. So we should learn from those people and the things that they eat, the things that they don't eat. And I really just stand in motion and easy. Say, I didn't know you can grow a garden in California. Oh, yeah.
Well, not only that, I'm in the desert. And people are like, how is he growing banana trees back here? I had to redo the soil. And I mean, because, you know, it's clay and you're in the desert. It was a job, but I mean, I got it done. It took me 2 years before any of my plants sprouted actual fruit. So.
Absolutely. So anyway, we gonna get out of here. Hey, Holsey, how you doing? I hope to say right. It says California has the best grow seasons in the U.S.
As a matter of fact, Riverside, California, is known in America as one of the citrus capitals of the United States. One of them, because right now it's wintertime and it's freezing. Everybody has either a lemon tree or orange tree. It's all over here, and where Demetra and I are from. It was a whole orchid area of
orange groves.
Orange groves, yeah, just full.
Yeah, orange groves. But you try to hop that fence if you want to, get up in there, something gonna happen to you. But yeah, so anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Miss B says, no, don't go. I love it here. I think Donovan got something to do. Donovan always go. You going to the city council meeting tonight?
No, not tonight. But I'm not going physically, but I watch the city council on the local TV or on YouTube. So that way I'm still informed. And that's what I tell everybody. I know you guys are tired from working. There's no excuse for you not to know what's going on in your city. So by me watching it, if there is something that I don't like, I'll email it, because you can email in real time and it goes into the public record. But then if it's something I don't like, I'll go to the next city council meeting and I'll bring it up and take people's heads off if I don't like it. But they always know I'm watching, because I email and text my representative if I want to say something to her or whatever. So
absolutely. So yeah, yes, I am going to get some rest. I got about another hour and a half of work to do, but after that, I'll lay it down, I think. But
it's your man. You wouldn't have to be working like that.
That's a whole other topic. Okay, trust me. That's a whole other conversation. But anyway, so yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Walter says he's in his house. So for y'all Walter fans, he is going to be here. So he says we will believe it when we see it. Donovan, will you be here?
I will be available. I'll be available. I'll be around.
Okay, yeah, you be here, because you know how your homie is. He be. Oh, it was Wednesday.
Right.
They have Wednesday every week. Oh, I didn't know. Y'all know Walter. Walter is a certified genius. I kid you not. He's certifiable, a genius. But he can be a little bit of an airhead sometimes. I didn't know Wednesday was every week. Why you didn't tell me? So anyway, love and appreciate y'all. Be back same time, 5 p.m. Central Time. He gave me a topic. I forget what it is, but it'll be interesting nevertheless. So y'all stay tuned for that. In the meantime, y'all have a great evening. See y'all later. And don't forget to go to the African Diaspora News channel and sign up for that app. We need y'all over there so we can spend more time over there at africandiasporanews.org. Peace.
And even though the Cowboys are playing at 4 p.m. on Sundays, that's no excuse for you to miss the Demetra K Show. You could chew bubblegum and watch America's team at the same time.
I look better and I'm more entertaining. I'm just going to put that out there. See y'all.